Go.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We're on.
We're out
morning.
here.
Dude.
Here we
Good
are.
morning.
Hey, Pod.
Hello.
So many things to say.
Good morning.
First visual pod. First pod with Gage Gratup
Yeah.
on the team here.
Happy to be here.
And we're at the beach.
And we're at the beach.
And the sun
The
is just
sun
starting
is
to rise.
rising in the background.
Glad to have Gage here.
This is
a
so good.
monumental moment.
A lot of things coalesced for this
Oh my
episode
goodness,
here.
yes.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to get it on video for a long time, but also we've been wanting Gage to have come on for a long time. And this all happened when we were sitting around a beautiful bakery, enjoying each other's company, just enjoying life. And we did what we often do, what we've done on the pod, which is just slip into gushing over how beautiful and rich life is,
Yeah.
especially when you understand where it comes from. Comes from God.
Yeah.
And we were just like, we need a whole pod episode dedicated to this.
Not even just one.
Exactly.
A whole series.
Yes.
Are we calling this Wonderful Life?
Yeah, I think that's what we
Yeah.
that's what we
The
call
Wonderful
it. Wonderful
Life
Life
series.
series. Yeah.
Starring Gage as our guest for this series.
Yeah.
Because when he's around, it just enhances
It
the
enhances it
conversation.
for
Life
sure.
is that much more wonderful.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
So we're excited.
Yeah.
Today's just going to be a little bit of an intro into
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
the why behind it's so
Yeah.
important
Yes.
to appreciate life.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
and why life is so good, and just
Right.
why it's important for us to just be simple and think about the things that we love.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, well, where do you want to start? Because you've got some wonderful life to share with us, to go in depth
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, that's
All
for
right.
You,
sure.
had,
Yeah.
you had a crazy.
Crazy last couple of days.
So I don't know exactly when it
Yeah.
all really started, but Wednesday, this last Wednesday, this is what, Saturday morning?
Yeah.
This last Wednesday, I got the opportunity to golf at Trump International Golf Course, which has always been a dream of mine, living
That's
over
pretty
here in
cool,
the area. Super nice golf course. We actually won the tournament,
That's insane.
which is really cool, and we got some nice putters as the victors there. So that was super cool. I love golfing, and so that was just kind of full circle moment, you know. And then Thursday night, I got the opportunity to go to a gala at Mar-a-Lago.
That's so cool.
Got to see Mr.
so
President,
cool.
Mr. Trump
You got to
himself.
see a lot of people.
Got to see
Elon
You got to see a lot
Musk.
of. Yeah. Wow.
Got a selfie with RFK Jr. That was
No
that was
way.
pretty. I haven't shown you that.
No,
yet,
I haven't
don't
seen
think.
that yet.
Do you know what I
Wow.
thought? As soon
Landon
as-
is incredibly chill about this.
He is
Yeah.
so chill
and we
about
have
this.
to pry this information
I would
out
be
of
like
him.
giggling like a little girl.
Yeah,
I'd be
Sam,
like,
here. Let me show you just while we're on the
Gage
topic.
is right though. When he was bringing it up for the first time, we were like, Landon, like, don't be so humble about this. We legitimately
Oh my
really want to know the
God.
details.
That is literally a arm around him, like
No,
full-on,
it was
full-blown
definitely
selfie.
one of the coolest nights. I
So
think
you
I've
were
ever been
in like
part
a
of.
ballroom, basically, with
in,
all of
in
these
the
people.
ballroom, yeah. And
You should have gotten one with Tucker too. Love Tucker.
Yeah.
Love
By
that
the
guy.
time I saw him, we were already sitting down and like eating food and stuff.
Yeah.
But before all of the food started, it was just like mad rush
And
to
you
whoever
saw
you could
Rocky.
find.
Were you
I got
sitting at a
picture-
table
got
with
a
him?
picture with him. He was at my table.
That's insane.
I was probably 5 yards away from Mr. President himself.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
He was eating at the table next to us, and just a wild experience.
What in
Just
the world?
wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, my grandpa gives some money to the that organization, that America
Yeah.
First Policy Institute. So we are blessed with being able to be a part of stuff
But
like that.
speaking about enjoying life and appreciating life,
Yeah,
I couldn't find a person on our age demographic more worthy of being in that
Yes.
environment and
Oh,
also
thank
you.
appreciating it and not taking
Yeah.
it for granted
Thank
and
you.
understanding the people that you're
Right.
around.
oh, it was absolutely one of the
Yeah.
most surreal moments, because you see and you look at and you watch these guys on TV, you talk about them with your friends all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
And honestly, Elon Musk was probably the biggest, he's not a real person, I thought. Like he seems like
He
this
doesn't seem real.
online
No, he doesn't
created,
seem real.
created
no.
guy, and he's literally right here.
Yeah.
And so it was honestly just the whole night was just mind blown after mind blowing experience, because
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been awesome to see one, but then all of them and in the same place and within a matter of like 30 minutes,
That's magical.
just yeah, pretty crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But we're here at the beach.
Here at the beach.
Sunrise. It's what, 6:30 in the
Something
morning.
Like that.
Yeah.
6:45. I think the sunrise is at 6:40. So.
And you can
6:45.
feel any morning like this. You can feel like the time in the air. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
it's
you got
crisp.
It's crisp.
I'm gonna
it's
drop a
fresh.
photo
The,
of what
breath, the air smells better.
of what the
Just
sun looks like
breath
right now.
Yeah.
of
All
All
fresh
the
so
air.
people
crazy.
that are up right now are successful. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good
Yeah.
to be around.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody that's here, like, they set an alarm.
Yeah.
They woke up. They did it, which is more than I could say for myself.
That's so funny.
Gage, how did you wake
Yeah,
up
what's
this
the beginning of
morning?
your morning?
Yeah.
I woke up to my computer ringing, and I thought it was part of my dream at first, and it kept going. It kept going, and then I opened up my computer, and I was like, oh, hey, Landon. I got all
Good
these
morning,
texts
Gage.
that are like, hey,
Good morning.
we're outside. Good morning. You're late. And I feel like I'm late to, like, the first day on the job.
No, don't
It's
worry.
brutal.
It's okay.
We got here in time.
You failed the first test.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
My
No,
alarm
that-
was set for 5:30 a.m. every weekday, and it's Saturday.
And it's
The classic wonder of the weekday alarm,
But
not the weekend alarm.
Your coming week is going to be extremely productive.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
starting off the end of the week well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, here to talk about why is it so important
Yeah.
for us to
Yeah.
stop and just like you said earlier, just gush
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
life, gush over the enjoyment, and just really, I don't know, sit
Well,
and
for
be calm and just love the
Yeah.
creation that God has given us.
Well, for starters, like we're talking about right now, it's motivating. Like being
yeah.
excited every day to get up, something to look forward to. Like always having
Absolutely.
something to look forward to in
Yeah.
life, so that you can get up
Mhm.
at early hours like this and like enjoy. Like
Yeah.
look at that. I know we keep
Oh my
talking about it, but it's like
That's
yeah,
so
it's
pretty.
like- it's a privilege.
I'm gonna
It
have to go
absolutely
back
is.
and watch this episode.
Yeah. well,
And it's also it's worshipful.
Oh, it
what's
is.
what's super fun is God always like my biblical studies reading is always like right on time
Yeah.
to like
Mhm.
being applicable.
Mhm.
And this week's discipline that we had to practice and read about was worship. And only like 2 or 3 paragraphs of the chapter were actually dedicated to singing songs of praise.
yeah.
And to some people, that when they say worship, that's implied 100%. Like, that's the only thing
Right.
that comes.
Yeah. This chapter went into worship as being a like guttural response to God's glory and
Mm.
beauty.
Yeah.
And like on a fundamental level, worship is like throwing your attention at something.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so that makes it easy to conceptualize why idolatry is worship. It's
Yeah.
just giving your attention.
Yeah.
But for us to look at like appreciating beauty, when we hurl ourselves at the beauty of life, you know, whether it be a beautiful meal shared with close friends or a sunrise or any number of things, literally everything, we can throw ourselves at it as a reflection of God's ultimate beauty, ultimate glory. And it
Mhm.
can be such a worshipful thing because
Yeah.
you can't help but give God credit.
Yeah.
Well, and the sad thing is how much, like how diluted our enjoyment, our
Yeah.
dopamine
Yeah.
has become.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like doing this is so much better than scrolling on Instagram.
Oh my
or,
gosh.
Or,
Yeah, that's so
or
true.
seeing a sunrise on Instagram. I feel like this is like a real experience of,
Yeah.
of that fake enjoyment that we get on social media or
Yeah.
looking at stuff online.
Well, it's like what we talked about in the last episode. It's just nowadays we require so much stimulus.
Yeah.
So much, dopamine, chemical explosion in our brain from
Mhm.
what we're intaking. That things like this require too much of our attention span, or too much intentionality of an observance to really appreciate. But when you are living in that mindset of being content with where you're at and enjoying the simple things and enjoying intricacies, life becomes a lot more special.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's how it's like breaking that cycle, that chain that you can slip into very easily. Again, like we talked about in the last episode, that is so tough.
And I feel like we've experienced that, like just being able to enjoy life more. Once we had that first conversation like this, it's just almost every conversation
Yeah.
spirals
Yeah.
somewhat into just like, oh my goodness, I love you guys so much.
Yeah.
God is so good. Life is so.
Yeah.
we keep saying life can't get
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, better,
And then it does.
Yeah,
And then it does.
Every
And then
time.
it does.
Okay, so and on that topic, like, let's elaborate about that, right?
Right. I also wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
So for people who like have not experienced this or don't, this isn't. It's easy to look at this and be like, "Wow,
Yeah.
God is good. Life is good."
Yeah.
But also, like, there's a lot of people just living day to day who are just in a city. They don't get to see this. They'll never leave
Yeah.
the town that they're from, and they're stuck in a cycle of dopamine. They're looking for the next hit, and it's a different. This is a totally different circuitry.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it doesn't
yeah.
compare if you're talking about like the best movie you've ever watched,
Yeah.
the best book you've ever read.
Right.
They're just different things. It's
Yeah.
always going to be easier to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's, I love that. It's the circuitry. It's not necessarily your circumstance.
Right.
Like, obviously, it's super easy for us in West Palm to look around and see God's beauty, but it's like, I see God's beauty in, like, Wyoming. Like, there's God's beauty is everywhere.
Right.
And it's not about finding a circumstance or a social circle that is conducive to beauty. Every aspect of God's
Yeah.
world is conducive to beauty.
Right.
It's rewiring your mind
Exactly.
to be on
And-
the lookout for it.
And honestly, to me, the thing that accentuates these conversations the most, that makes them the best, is having them with you guys, like
Yeah.
doing them in relationship with
Yeah.
people that you
Yeah,
you
exactly.
really enjoy being with. And I've found that, like, being with you guys leads to these conversations,
Yeah.
and not necessarily just when I'm on my own.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to prioritize when you're on your own to do these things, but, like, find the people in your life that are
Yeah.
gonna, like, lead you to these types of conversations,
I
lead you
agree.
to productive conversations.
Because in this day and age, we need each other to help us train out of that
Yeah.
dopamine cycle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's-
and we all
yeah.
notice beauty in different things.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll be
Different
walking past
perspectives.
something and Sam's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, that's a beautiful car."
Yeah.
Jed's
Yeah.
like, "That's a really. Did you see that person? Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah.
beautiful person.
that's
Yeah.
a beautiful person. Like on a soul level, not like
Yeah. Yeah.
Jed is out here catcalling everyone he sees.
Look at her. That's a beautiful.
Yeah. That's
No.
so funny.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It takes a village to appreciate every aspect of it, because that's why, like, knowing other people and being known by other people is so huge, because, like,
Yeah.
we're so different, and God has knit into us a propensity for one aspect of Him, and between all of us, we're gonna get a pretty full picture of that tableau.
Well, and also reiterating the importance of community, like
Yeah.
you were saying, Gage,
Yeah.
and like you were elaborating on, Jed.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's in a holistic sense. Like, in more ways than one is community important.
Yeah.
But then also, then in application, analyzing the people I'm surrounding myself with.
Right.
Are they making life more beautiful?
Yeah.
Are they making every day that I wake up more enjoyable?
Yeah.
Are we all climbing this ladder together?
Yeah.
Or are they actually tainting my view of the world? Are they making it less enjoyable to get up every day? Are the things that they are saying when we're walking around in public or
Yeah.
whatever, noticing those
Yeah.
small things, just like how you notice the
Yep.
small beautiful things, the small simple things of complaining about something, like, that's ugly, and see how many times do they say, oh, that's really cool, I really enjoy that, that's
Right.
really neat.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the problem is you get a sense of company in both of them. Like
Right.
misery loves company.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
that's
so
so true.
true. And I spent most of my high school just time like that, being
Yeah.
in that.
Right.
And you still get this sick enjoyment out of being with
Right.
somebody and complaining about something. So you have to be careful about pointing out the beauty while you can, because it's so much better.
Well, and
Agreed.
even with the stuff on Thursday night at the gala, so many people there are looking for status.
Right.
Like that is what they
That's
want.
so
That is
interesting, yeah.
that is the people they surround themselves with, and so that status, that being popular, really, like, just consumes
Yeah.
their lives, and you can just
Right.
tell by the
Yeah.
feeling in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it made me think that, like, I'm so happy to be surrounded by guys who are
Yeah.
content with life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who I don't feel like I have to compete with. I don't
Yeah.
feel like I
Yeah.
have to overwork myself, but I can simply just enjoy being with you guys. And I know that no matter what we end up doing, it could be something as simple as
Yeah.
going to a diner or just walking through this
Yeah.
downtown West
Yeah.
Palm. Like, we're going to enjoy whatever we do to the
Yeah.
fullest.
Yeah.
And even more somehow. Every
Yeah.
time that we hang out, it's like, how does it get better. We don't know.
And there's
It
a
does.
lot to
time
be
it does.
said about having ambition and having drive and,
Yeah. For
and
sure.
wanting to do better and be better and work harder. But then at the same time, having people around you that also have your best interest in mind
Mhm.
and don't succeed by seeing you fail or seeing
Yeah.
you overload yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was at the lead workshop yesterday, and it was a lady talking about the co-vocational life. So like,
Yeah.
not just thinking that you have to go into ministry,
Yeah.
to believe, to know that you are still in ministry as
Yeah.
a Christian.
For sure.
And she was talking about how like so many people that you run into are either living in the past or trying to live in the future, and
Right.
so many people miss the enjoyment of the present. And They
Yeah.
get to the end of their
Yeah.
lives and they're like, what if I never enjoyed any of it
Yeah.
because I was always looking for the next thing,
Right.
or missing something that I had had in the past.
Yeah.
And it made me think,
Yeah.
and it made me so appreciative of this group, because it's like we constantly are so happy with our lives right now. We're so joyful of the things that we're going through right now, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on any
yeah.
of that.
It definitely
really
feels like
pulls
we
you
are.
to the present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are absolutely in the present. And it's funny thinking about that through like ministry as a microcosm, because I feel like there's so many people who are like, well, when I get into ministry,
Right.
when I'm on the mission
Yeah.
field,
Right.
when I know enough to talk to somebody about Jesus, when you are on mission right now.
Right.
Like whoever's sitting next to you in class, whoever lives in your connecting suite, it's like that's the person you need to be discipling. And that's the
Yes.
person you're best equipped to disciple. And I mean, but you can blow that up to so many things. It's like I'm really going to be a man when I'm out of high school.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really going to be a man when.
Do you see the rays?
It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
cutting
like,
through is
Yeah.
in the middle of
I
that
really hope
conversation,
that
the
cuts
sun
through.
hit your face, and I just was like, I almost
Oh.
fell in love with you, Jed.
Dude, hey,
You look gorgeous.
Thank you,
Greek
bro.
God.
Yeah,
like,
speaking of Greek God, Landon's quote this morning, you quoted Homer, bro. Rosy
the
fingered dawn.
Rosy Fingered Dawn, which we got to experience, which
Yeah.
love you, Dr. Horcott, in
Yes.
case you end up
Yes.
listening someday. I don't know.
Yes.
But yeah, no. That sense
Your value
of
centers change.
Jesus changes your value centers. And not only that, but like if we are worshiping, if we want to worship our creator, then one way of worshiping our creator is by enjoying the creation that
Yeah.
he gave us.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
it's such a majestic thing. Like the entire, like just the intricacies of the world and the amount of the world that we haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
But just the intense beauty that when you, like you said, remove all those anxieties, remove all those stresses in life, and you're able to just sit and relax in God's presence.
Yeah.
It's like not even a sunset, but just almost everything will just make like just a good cup of coffee in the
Yeah.
morning will just start
Yeah.
Ah.
make your brain overflow with joy and happiness.
Yeah.
And so
And it's those little things. It's a good cup of coffee in the morning. It's like a really good like hello. You know, you don't even have the conversation with the person, but you lock eyes. And there's a
Yeah.
beautiful little exchange there. It's the way the sun will hit that window a particular way. And it's like, I find that the closer I get to the Lord, the more often those little trinkets of eternity just pop.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a little glimpse of eternity.
Yeah.
Because it's in heaven, we'll still get to experience God's creation.
It's a new heaven and a new earth.
and just
Yeah.
how exciting that will be to without any of those
Yeah.
those hindrances on us, be able to fully enjoy
Yeah.
all that God has created us for.
Yeah.
I would like to, if I can, talk a little bit about last night.
Yes.
Go ahead.
When
we
I
talk
want to
about-
hear about that.
When you brought up that our values totally change, it's so true, and I felt that last night. So I went to a bonfire on the beach, and then I saw some people in my group walked away, and they started talking to somebody, but it was pitch black, so I could see like from the moonlight that they were talking to, like there was a new figure in the group that had joined them, and then they were over there for 10 plus minutes, and I just started to get curious. I didn't know, but I felt like I should go over there, but I thought it was somebody our age. I just went over there to like meet new friends. And it turned out to be a lady who was in her mid-20s. She has a kid, and she had just like met up with a guy last night who she had been talking to for months, like maybe I want to say 8 months.
Yeah. Wow, that's a long
Wow.
time.
And she basically ended up praying like, God, if this is the right guy for me or the wrong guy, let me know. Like, let me know his intentions.
Yeah.
Long story short, he did not have good intentions. He was like a member of the church, but he was like interested in her for the wrong reasons.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was awful. And so she had a bottle of tequila in one hand. She was like angry with some members of our group, and she was pretty tipsy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was just a very serious moment, and it's right when I came over, it was like at first people were laughing, and then you just get a sense of like, oh,
Yeah.
something in
Yeah.
me clicks, and it's like there's
serious.
something important here. This is serious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is like nothing is funny about this, and normally I would be nervous about talking to somebody like that, but something in me, and this is one of the few times this has happened, one of the first times it's happened, and I just got this overwhelming sense of this is all that matters.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
here, this
Yeah.
conversation is the only thing that matters. And so yeah, I was able to share some of my story with her, and she had already been introduced to Christ, but I was just able to like share some of my testimony with her, let her know that I'm getting baptized this Sunday, and then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just how
Yeah.
much she's loved. She had like, I think she hadn't had alcohol for a long time, and she was feeling very upset with herself
Yeah.
Yeah.
that she had just fallen into this thing,
Yeah.
and she also felt judged sort of by our group.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But just to have her know that she's loved by God, and that this is like, blessed is the man who falls down 7 times
Yeah.
but gets up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
It was-
even that is just such a beautiful interaction.
so
that is
beautiful.
so
Beautiful
beautiful,
interaction.
and I'm so glad that God used me in that way.
Yeah.
And
Well-
even the text that you sent afterwards. I mean, Jed and I
Yeah.
were just like in the
Oh.
room, like, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, we were so hyped.
We were excited for you, and I feel like that's, I don't know, just that going back to that community and that relationship, and like when we're living in relationship and in community like God
Yeah.
has called us to, and when we're loving on other
Yeah.
people like God has called us to, it's like just the joy
and
that comes from that.
It makes sense that like people would be the biggest receptacle of that kind of beauty of of life, because
Yeah.
people are the only eternal thing that we come into
Yeah,
contact
yeah.
with. You know, that cup of coffee, as beautiful it is, and as much as God has like knit beauty into it for us to enjoy, it's momentary, it's passing. But
Mhm.
every
Yeah.
person we meet is going to be around forever.
Right.
Well, think of how much of the action, like how many of the actions that we do are trivial and things that
yeah.
are going to pass
Yep.
away with this world.
Right.
And so when we finally experience
Yeah.
something that has an eternal weight to it, it's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
there's
Yeah.
there's endless amounts
Yeah.
of feeling and
Yeah.
just weight that comes with that. And
Yeah.
so, I
Yeah.
mean, just hearing you talk about that, it's like those moments of ministry, or when you're having that deep, super beautiful conversation with somebody, it's like no wonder there's so much more that comes from that than winning a football game.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
or,
Right.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it sound-
I still feel pretty. Sorry, I still feel
Okay.
pretty new to this, just because I've grown up in the church, but I'm sort of new at deepening my faith and coming to the Lord, and experiencing that last night is like, I've always been nervous to share
Yeah.
to share
Yeah,
the good
that's
news
normal.
with people.
Yeah.
But then once I
Yeah.
had, it's like this is what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, what a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I
Real.
feel so humbled and just like so appreciative to
Yeah.
be used
Yeah.
in this way.
Yeah.
Like, oh
Yeah.
man, I've been missing out.
Yeah. Well,
It's-
that's totally the feeling. It's a feeling of being like used and supernaturally
Yes.
like equipped. It's not. It's wonderful, and you're right. It's humbling because it's impossible for me to like take credit in the
Right.
moment,
You're taken
even
out
to
of it
myself.
completely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that you use the word humbled, because I think it's a really
Yeah.
easy opportunity to say, I fixed somebody. You
Yeah.
know, I was the antidote for someone
Add
else. But
another
it's
tic tac mark to
Yeah.
my
exactly. But it's like
Yeah.
we don't know what's best for other people. God knows what's best for other people.
Yeah.
I think that's something I hear a
Yeah.
lot of non-Christians say to Christians. Like, how do you guys think you know what's best for other people? It's like, how do you think you know what's best for me? Like,
Yeah.
it's my
Spirit,
life.
man.
It's like, I don't. It's like God does. And it sounds like this lady was dealing with a lot of shame
Yes.
in her
Yeah.
in her life, and
Yep.
she was projecting that out a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you were able to approach her as a human being
Yeah,
with
relatable.
empathy and be like, there's nothing to be ashamed about, and kind of share that human experience with someone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Testimony is so powerful.
Yes.
It allows people to connect and see themselves in your story, and when they see that somebody else can break through what they're going through, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
And beautiful. I mean, I don't know the end result of the conversation, but even if it even regardless if it wasn't her coming to Christ or whatever, it's like the seeds that are planted, and the like I said earlier, the eternal weight. It's just so pretty, and like Sam said, just the humility is such a
So
key
important.
aspect. Anytime we have these conversations, we're always just that feeling of gratitude is just overwhelming, where it's like we don't deserve any of these beautiful experiences experiences, these encounters that we have.
We have a visitor. We have a visitor.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
No, he can.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's so cute.
Aw.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Hey.
See,
so cool.
we love life. Things
Keep
like
saying
this.
it can't get better,
It can't
and
get
then
better,
it does.
Yeah.
She's a Rhodesian Ridgeback. So like
She's a
Ooh.
Rhodesian Ridgeback.
It grows backwards.
Wow.
That's a beautiful dog.
That is a beautiful dog.
Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Oh, man.
wow, 12 and a half.
She looks young and vibrant.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Have a
you.
wonderful day.
Yeah, wow.
Exhibit A.
What a
Yeah,
Exhibit A.
beautiful
Literally.
little
The
dog.
only thing that could be better than that is if it parked behind us and pooped on camera and just stared straight into the souls of everybody else.
I was prepared. You never know with older dogs.
Yeah,
but,
that's so true.
man, so nice. Yeah, but that, I mean, even just interactions like that right there, where it's like,
Yeah.
you can't not love life.
You cannot
You
love
can't not-
life.
But going
And
back, going back to what Jed said earlier about how does God change that for us? How does God allow us to enjoy life?
Yeah.
It's a matter of character and a matter of perspective of what we value and the eternal things that we value. So it's like little interactions like that.
Yeah.
That it's like the people that you saw at that function, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, they're worried about status. They're worried about wealth.
Yeah.
They're worried about a lot of things that aren't eternal. But when you're worried about eternal things, it makes interactions like that so much more enjoyable, because it's
Yeah.
like the small impact that your character has on someone else when you interact with them just for even 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't realize
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.